before the first sunrise, before the first sound, before time itself had a name, there was nothing. No sky, no sea, no star. And over that nothing, a voice was waiting to speak. This is the first page of the oldest story ever told. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. Tonight, the 6 days that built everything, in order, the way it was written. The earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And then, 4 words that changed everything. And God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. He did not build it. He did not borrow it. He spoke, and the darkness split. And God saw the light, that it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness. He called the light day, and the darkness night. And the evening and the morning were the first day. Notice the order. Before there was a sun, there was light. The source came before the lamp. Day 2. God stretched a firmament, a vault, between the waters below and the waters above, and called it heaven. Day 3. The waters under heaven were gathered together unto one place, and the dry land appeared. He called the dry land earth, and the gathering of the waters he called seas. And then the ground itself came alive. Let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind. The first forest rose without a single seed planted by human hands, and God saw that it was good. Day 4. God furnished the sky he had stretched, and God made 2 great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. 5 words at the end of that verse. He made the stars also, and with them 100 billion galaxies are handed to us almost as a footnote. They were set, the text says, for signs and for seasons and for days and years. The universe was given a calendar. Read that verse again and listen for what it does not say. And God made 2 great lights, the greater light to rule the day and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. He made the stars also. 5 words, almost an afterthought. A clause at the end of a sentence about the sun and the moon. And into those 5 words, the ancient writer puts every star you have ever seen and every star you never will. 100 billion galaxies. Light that left its source before there was a man alive to look up and wonder at it. Not a chapter, not a psalm, a clause. There is a kind of greatness that does not need to announce itself. The sky was furnished the way a man sets a table, quietly, thoroughly, before anyone arrives. And they were given a purpose beyond beauty. Set, the text says, for signs and for seasons and for days and years. The planting, the harvest, the feast, the waiting. The universe was handed a calendar, and the calendar was handed to us. Day 5. Let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that hath life, and fowl that may fly above the earth. Great whales, every winged fowl after his kind. And God blessed them. The first blessing in the Bible is spoken over animals. Be fruitful and multiply. Day 6. The beasts of the earth, cattle, and every creeping thing. And then the work stops. The rhythm changes. For everything else, God said, "Let there be." But now, and God said, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness." So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them. Every human being who has ever lived carries that same stamp. Not some, all. Everything before this moment was spoken into being at a distance. Let there be. Let the waters. Let the earth. Then the language changes, and it has never changed back. And God said, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness." Not let there be. Let us make. The difference between a word and a pair of hands. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them. Sit with what that verse does to every argument you have ever heard about who matters. It is said 3 times in one sentence. Not once. The writer says it 3 times, as though he knew we would try to find an exception. There is none. Not the man in the field, not the woman carrying water, not the stranger, not the prisoner, not the child nobody came for, not the one the world has decided is worth less this century. Every human face you will ever see is carrying the same stamp. The people who built systems to say otherwise were arguing with the first page of the book they swore on. And God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. 6 days of work, and then day 7. And he rested on the 7th day from all his work which he had made. And God blessed the 7th day and sanctified it. The first thing in all the Bible that God calls holy is not a mountain, not a temple, not a book. It is a day. Time itself, set apart for rest. Here is the plain meaning of this first page, the part readers across every tradition agree on. The world is not an accident. It was called good, 7 times good. Every human bears the image of God, and rest is not laziness, it is holy. That is the foundation. Every page that follows stands on this one. 1 page, 6 days. 1 image stamped on every human face. This is truth in order. The Bible from the first word to the last, 1 chapter at a time, in the order it was meant to be understood. Next, Genesis 2, the garden, the river. The first man wakes, and God says it is not good for him to be alone. Subscribe and read it in order.